Coming up, the Yankees blow a lead in the ninth inning to the Marlins. This is Locked On Game to Game MLB.
Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. Local experts join us, then we recap all of the action for you from yesterday across Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. Adam Duvall's 4 RBIs led the Boston Red Sox to a series win over the Tigers on Sunday. Our Locked On Red Sox host has more after the win.
Hi, it's Gabby from Locked On Red Sox here. Red Sox had a good win today to finish off their series strong against the Tigers, taking 2 out of 3 after winning today 6-3. The biggest storyline of today's game was definitely the return of Garrett Whitlock. He looked awesome, pitching 2 innings, giving up just 1 unearned run and recording 3 strikeouts. Adam Duvall also had a massive 3-run homer in the game. He drove in 4 of the Red Sox 6 runs. Justin Turner hit another home run for the second straight day. So it was a really good series overall for the Red Sox. Cutter Crawford looked decent, pitched into the 5th inning, gave up 2 runs. So we take that and we ride. The next series is the Nationals, so the Red Sox absolutely have to win that series as well and just continue to win series, and that's what's going to possibly get them a playoff spot. So just keep it going.
The Reds and Pirates split their doubleheader yesterday, and Locked On Reds has more about the matchup.
Batting averages, ERAs, on-base percentages, home runs, statistics galore. What matters is did you win? And the Cincinnati Reds got 2 wins in Pittsburgh. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And the Cincinnati Reds got exactly what they needed out of this weekend. They got 2 wins in 3 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They keep pace as long as they continue to keep pace. They don't have to go on some crazy streak. They don't have to win every game between now and forever. They just have to keep pace until Hunter Green, until the bullpen is reinforced. They don't have to go crazy. They just have to tread water, and they did that in Pittsburgh. There's opportunity here. Don't give up on this team yet. We got a lot to talk about. Join us on the next Locked On Reds.
Sonny Gray struck out 7, and the Twins shut out the Phillies on Sunday afternoon. Our Locked On host with the Phillies goes into all the details in Philly.
Well, folks, the Philadelphia Phillies lose to the Minnesota Twins. They drop 2 of 3 in the series to Minnesota, but that is not the storyline of today's game. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. I'm done. I'm fed up with it. Alex McKay is just not fit to be a major league umpire, and he's a call-up umpire for a reason. He doesn't deserve to umpire at this level. Terrible strike calls to Alec Boehm and Bryce Harper in big spots in the game, and you just cannot allow that to be a thing. If you're Major League Baseball, you need to take notice of the absolute abysmal umpiring that's all across baseball this year. It's terrible, and it's killing this game. They've done so much to make the game better with the pitch clock and all these new rules and everything like that, and then they're actively hurting it by allowing people like Alex McKay to be a part of this game when they shouldn't be. It's terrible. He's awful. He should not umpire another major league game, and I'm done with it. I'm so done with it. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
The Blue Jays were able to avoid a sweep, and they took out some frustration by scoring 11 runs on the Cubs Sunday afternoon. Our Locked On hosts with both teams go over things after the game.
Hello, friends. Craig Ballard, Locked On Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays salvage a game in this weekend series with an 11-4 victory over the Chicago Cubs this afternoon at Rogers Center. 2nd Sunday in a row and 5th Sunday this season where the Blue Jays have scored double-digit runs. Best performance from Hyunjin Ryu since May 20th of 2022, as his 3rd start back from Tommy John surgery was his best start so far, now on a streak of 12 1/3 innings pitched in a row without allowing an earned run. Somehow Danny Jansen got hit by a pitch for the 4th and 5th time in his last 7 games. Okay, not 2, not 3, but 4 hit Witt was in the house today. Kevin Biggio on base twice Friday, on base twice Saturday, on base 3 times today, and Brandon Belt did his usual thing. He walked a bunch of times today. And how about Dalton Varsho? Since the All-Star break, Dalton Varsho 1 home run and 7 RBIs. Well, today alone, 1 home run and 5 RBIs to add to that. Let's go. Would be huge to have Dalton Varsho get going for the Toronto Blue Jays down the stretch.
Cubs get manhandled in Toronto today. by the score of 11-4. It was overall a very good weekend for the Cubs as they took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays, but Sunday's game was not. They got off to a good start. We're up 2-0 early, and then Jamison Tyone imploded. The bullpen wasn't much better. Sloppy defense, not much hitting, and the Cubs weren't able to get the sweep against the very talented Blue Jays. But overall, 2 out of 3 this weekend, a 3-3 road trip, and the schedule gets much easier now with the White Sox, the Royals coming to town. Cubs will have a chance to gain ground on the Brewers, who have a much tougher schedule, so things are still looking up on the north side.
Coming up, Shohei Ohtani hits another home run in an Angels win. This is Locked On Game to Game MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Game to Game is brought to you by Game Time. If you're like me, I usually decide really last minute that I want to go to a game or a concert, but that can sometimes be expensive and it's hard to find tickets. But that's where Game Time comes in because they have the Game Time guarantee. That means you're going to get the best price no matter what. If you find tickets in the same section and the same row for less somewhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB. That will get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. The Guardians jumped out to an early lead against the Rays. They never had to worry while they took down Tampa. Locked On hosts with both sides have the recap.
What a weird weekend, right? This is a team that one could say has a good case for should have swept this series. Instead, they take 1 out of 3. And you could be honest. You can admit with me. It's perfectly fair. When you saw the lineup today, you thought, they might get no hit again. That was one of the ugliest lineups on paper that we've seen all year. And they went and dropped the 9 spot and became an extra base machine. Scoring was in the first 5 innings in a row. I can't remember. The scoring kept going. Tanner Bybee, let's get the name right, Bybee, is this team's ace right now. Gavin Williams has been fantastic, man. Bybee is just finding another level. He should be in the Rookie of the Year discussion. If they have a Rookie of the Year discussion and they're talking 5 candidates, they're talking 4 candidates, and his name isn't coming up, they're getting it wrong. Guardians take 1 out of 3. Could have taken 3 out of 3. Fun, weird game. Tanner Bybee continues to excel.
My name is Ulysses Zambrano, host of the Locked On Rays podcast. After thrilling back-to-back walk-off wins on Friday and Saturday, the Tampa Bay Rays fall on Sunday against the Cleveland Guardians 9-2. Zach Eflin did not have his best showing, only lasting 3 innings. This team is going up and down, but they have won 3 out of their last 4 series. Unfortunately, in this homestand, they faced 2 Central teams in the Cardinals and the Guardians and came out 3-3. So not the greatest of news when a Baltimore Orioles team still has the lead in the AL East. For this and much more of your Tampa Bay Rays, be sure to subscribe to Locked On Rays on any other podcast platform, but especially YouTube. Rays up.
The Yankees blew a 4-run lead in the 9th inning, and the Marlins walked off to get a big win for their playoff hopes yesterday. Locked On Yankees tells us what went wrong for New York in the late innings.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and I'm wondering, is this rock bottom? I feel like I've said this at least 6 times this season. And Sunday was another moment where we all asked ourselves, is this rock bottom for the New York Yankees? They had a 4-run lead heading into the bottom of the 9th against the Miami Marlins. And when the game was over, the Marlins were celebrating a walk-off 8-7 victory. Garrett Cole is once again victimized by his team. This time, the offense actually scored for him. It was the bullpen, mainly Clay Holmes, who was charged with all 5 runs, who completely fell apart for the Yankees on Sunday. So instead of leaving Miami with a series win, they lose in horrifying fashion for them, and now they get to head to Atlanta to face the best team in baseball. So things aren't getting easier for the Yankees. Again, is this rock bottom? Probably not. I probably will be saying the same thing in a couple of days.
Shohei Ohtani hit his 41st home run, and the Angels beat the Astros by a run on Sunday afternoon. Locked On Angels and Astros go over that win for LA.
Stop me if you've heard this before, but the Angels salvage another series after dropping the first two and winning the third game on Sunday. What's going on, everybody? John Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. The Halos took Game 3 against the Astros on Sunday 2-1 after an outstanding pitching performance from Chase Silseth, and then Mickey Moniak doubled in. Eduardo Escobar, Shohei Ohtani hits a huge home run, but I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but listen, I am so sick of saying the Angels are salvaging a series. They have lost 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 4 to the Astros all season long. And the reason why is because of the pitching. I mean, Chase Silseth was great on Sunday, but Reed Detmers had a blow-up start. Tyler Anderson had a blow-up start on Saturday. I mean, can we get these guys away from Matt Wise and the pitching coaches? Because Chase Silseth came up from AAA, and he's been great since he came back over the last month. Mike and I are going to recap this Houston Astros series. We hope you'll join us on Locked On Angels.
This is H.M. Wellhouse here with Locked On Astros, and after grabbing the first 2 games by a score of 22-6, the Astros fall in Game 3, 2-1. Shohei Ohtani did something that only Yordan Alvarez had done. He hit a home run over the batter's eye today. Yordan Alvarez tried to take the lead late in the game, but he had a 405-foot fly out to center field where the ball narrowly missed going out. Not to be overshadowed, a great start by Jose Urquidy. 7 strikeouts today, no walks. He only allowed 2 runs, and he looked great on the mound, so that's encouraging. The Astros did give an update on Brantley. We talk about that on the latest Locked On Astros. We talk about going to Miami. We talk about Michael Brantley possibly making a rehab start soon. All these things. Make sure you tune into Locked On Astros. We're your team every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out.
Patrick Bailey hit a 2-run home run in the 10th to give the Giants a dramatic win over the Rangers yesterday. Locked On Rangers has more on a heartbreaking loss for Texas.
Dane Dunning throws the game of his life, but the Rangers offense can't quite pick him up, and the Rangers lose 3-2 in San Francisco finale. I'm Bryce Paddock, host of the Locked On Rangers podcast. This was a wild one for the Rangers. Dane Dunning pitched the best game I have ever seen from him. No walks, 12 strikeouts, 7 innings with just 1 earned run off the solo shot by Conforto, and the Rangers lost this one in the bottom of the 10th inning. Will Smith gave up his 4th loss of the season, his 3rd blown save, a walk-off home run by star rookie catcher Patrick Bailey. The Rangers were able to get 1 run across in the top of the 9th inning, a double by Julio Pablo Martinez. His first extra base hit as a major leaguer. Ezekiel Duran scored him from second base on an infield hit, some really gutsy base running by JPM. Roldis Chapman came in, pitched a perfect 9th inning, and then Will Smith blew it in the 10th. Close game for the Rangers, take the series win, but still a frustrating way to lose this final game.
Miguel Rojas drove in 4 runs, and the Dodgers took care of the Rockies yesterday without too much trouble. Locked On Dodgers has more after the game.
Everything's coming up Dodgers. What's up? It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. When August started, the Dodgers were ahead of the Giants by 2.5 games and the D-backs by 3.5 games in the National League West. As we go to bed on August 13th, they're up on the Giants by 8.5 and the D-backs by 12.5, not to mention 15.5 on the Padres, 26.5 on the Rockies. Dodgers are essentially running away with the division, thanks in large part to the current, 8 game long winning streak. They haven't lost in a while. They didn't lose it all this past week. They just finished sweeping the Rockies in a 4-game series in which the results were in doubt for a total of maybe like 3 innings out of the 4 games. So great series for the Dodgers. It's just the Rockies, but hey, the Rockies were the team on the schedule, so that's who they had to beat. Brewers come up next. Hopefully they'll sweep the Brewers too and just keep on running. It's been a very good week, a very good month so far for the Dodgers. Check out Locked On Dodgers.
That's a wrap for this edition of Locked On Game to Game MLB. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. We're in the second half of the season now, and the playoff push is around the corner. So make sure you're subscribed to Locked On MLB and your favorite team's Locked On podcast on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts from. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Game to Game.